What's going on, guys? Welcome back. Today we are going over how to scale, when to scale, metrics, the last few do's and don'ts, and so much more. I am going to condense it that way it's not too long for you guys, but stick around. It's going to be crazy informative. And without any further ado, let's get educated. So first thing, when it comes to scaling, we've already gone over boost campaigns. We've already gone over likes campaigns. We've already gone over sending out those ads in a very vanilla, very safe way to get your account started and quote unquote padded, right? You want to make sure that you're not going to immediately get cut off from Meta for, not following their guidelines, not following the rules, whatever the case is. But once you have reached the point where, okay, we are good to go, we are sending out ads, this is where it's time to start looking at when to scale. And there's two very important things that I want to give you guys right off the bat. And that is, there are two acronyms and they stand for very important things, KPI and ROAS, ROAS. So your KPI is your key performance indicator. You might hear a lot of advertisers, marketers talking about KPIs or metrics or anything like that. A KPI is simply a key performance indicator. It's simply just what it says it is. It just tracks, every time, you made a sale, every time you made a conversion, every time, this happens, that happens. It just keeps track of all of those so that way you can go back and adjust as needed. Your ROAS, that is your return on ad spend. So basically, you spend a dollar, you make a dollar back. You spend a dollar, you make $2. Whatever the case is, that return is your return on ad spend. So now that we know those two acronyms, here's where it starts getting a little tricky. When to scale. You want to make sure that when it's time for you to scale, you want to have at least 2 or 3 sales within your KPIs. So if your product or service is, let's say, $50, you want to make sure that you make at least 2 to 3 sales. So you want to be making at least $100 to $150 before you start thinking about scaling. The reason being is because if you think about it, if you spend $50 and then you only make 25 back, there's no point in scaling. You haven't even made your full return on your investment. So that's why you want to wait until you get to that 100%, 120% mark on returns, and that's when you want to start to scale. Now, when to cut it is also something that's very important, because even though you scale, that doesn't necessarily mean that that's the only path that your business is going to take. Sometimes it could be you scale forward and realize that you're actually not doing as good as you thought, and you have to cut it back. That's a normal thing in this business, guys, so don't feel too bad if it happens. Just make sure that you are always moving forward. Don't just stop, because if you stop, stopping is death, right? So make sure that your ad spend is obviously 100 to 120% on your return, because that's when it's time to scale. And when I talk about cutting your campaigns, I'm just saying that if you spend, a dollar and you only make back 50 cents, and you continuously do that, let's say over the course of a month, spending, $5 a day or whatever the case is for an entire month, and then you don't see it progressing towards the full return on that spend, then that's when it might be time to start adjusting, maybe cutting some things, maybe adjusting the verbiage, the picture, whatever the case is for the product or the service. Usually you will know when it's time to cut. It's impossible to not know, because you will start losing money. That's why 100%, 120%, that's when we want to start to go up. But from there, guys, it's just what type of scaling to do. And there's 2 types of scaling. There's scaling vertically, and then there's, pardon me, and then there's scaling horizontally. Now they both are good, and they both will affect your business as you see fit. I'm just going to go ahead and break them both down for you. That way you guys know exactly which is what and what was going to work best for you. You will be using both of these at some point in time during your business or businesses. So don't think, oh, he says, he's scaling vertically, so I'm going to scale vertically. There are times where you're going to have to scale vertically and you're going to have to scale horizontally. And I just want to give you the information, that way you guys know when it's time to do whichever one. So scaling vertically, that is scaling your winning assets 10 to 20%. So you send out an ad, it is doing phenomenal numbers. It's bringing in, exactly what you wanted. You're spending $1, making $1.50, $2 back. That's when you want to start scaling vertically. That just means you're gonna keep going up and up and up in 10 to 20% increments. Excuse me. And if your return on investment, your ROI, begins to take a hit because of that, that's when you simply scale and you cut back 10 to 20%. I would suggest that if you scale in 10% increments, descale in 10% increments. Don't go in 20 and come down in 10, or go up in 10 and come down in 20. Keep your numbers the same. The only reason I say this is because some people get it in their minds that, oh, I'm going to go up in 20% increments. Oh, I've hit a ceiling or a wall. I need to scale back down. I'm just going to do it in 10% increments. That's fine. The only thing I'll say on that is you really do want to keep your numbers the same. If you scale up in 20% increments, you need to scale down in 20% increments. It's just going to be easier for you in the long run, instead of trying to remember, okay, I scaled up 10%, then I scaled down 20%, then I scaled back up 20% and scaled back down. It's just going to be a lot of going back and forth. And, if you're like me, you might have an Excel spreadsheet with all that information on it. I am that way, so it is what it is. But just know that it's probably better if you just stick with the same numbers. Next, scaling horizontally. This is if your ad set has a lot of sales with sorry, I wrote it on my notes and I can't write. Lots of sales with your ROAS, it's time to duplicate it. So basically, when it's doing a lot of sales, we're going to say 2 to 3, like we were talking about earlier, and you want to start scaling. If you want to scale horizontally, that's basically just taking that ad, that winning ad, and duplicating it. You're not changing it. You're not, adding anything or taking anything away. You're literally just going to duplicate it and send it out. A lot of people don't understand why you would do something like that. Why wouldn't you make a new ad, Newton? Well, the reason is, if this ad is doing so well, think about how many people are just on the planet, and then think about that portion of people who are on Meta, and now think about that portion of people that I interacted with that first ad. Meta is going to take it as, okay, this man created the exact same ad. I'm not going to send it to the exact same people. I'm going to send it to the same people in the same category. So, like, let's say it finds, Bob Schmo, and he's looking to start his own business, and that's a person that your ad got in front of. They're going to look for more people like Bob Schmo. They're not going to look for Bob himself. They're just going to look for people like that. So you always want to, make sure that you're doing either horizontally or vertically. But like I said, there are going to be times where you're going to do both. You're going to do one or the other. You're going to do both. You're going to intermingle them from time to time. And it usually works better if you do use both. So I hope that makes sense. Scaling vertically, it just means upping how much you're spending versus, taking it down a little bit if necessary. And horizontally is just duplicating a winning ad to make sure that you have multiple winning ads going out. And when you scale vertically, you want to scale vertically until you get diminishing returns. You want to keep going until it's like, okay, now I'm not going any higher than, spending $1, making $2. I'm stuck at this $2, profit margin, or this $1 profit margin. That's when you start scaling horizontally. And this is what I was talking about how you're going to have to use them both. Because once you get big enough, once you've, scaled up and up and up and up, you are going to hit a ceiling. That doesn't mean that you're done. That just means that you're going to have to start doing a little bit of spreading out, so that way you can continue to build those up again. So, guys, like I said, this is it. This is the quickest one this week. Scaling is not hard. I know a lot of people get a little maybe wary just because, it's throwing more money at something, but that's really nothing to worry about, guys. Plus, the only way you're going to make a lot of money is if you scale. So with that, I really hope you guys got a whole lot of value out of this video. And if you did like it, hit that like button right there. It really does do a lot for me, and I really do appreciate it. And if you want to see more videos like this, think about subscribing. I would love to have you as part of the channel. And with that, guys, we are going to close this out proper with a have fun, stay safe, wear a seatbelt, and I'll catch you guys next week. Peace.